How can you deal with a writing block? That's the topic I'm addressing today with the right question. I'm Daphne Gray Grant, the publication coach, still in pandemic mode. I have a question from Elizabeth Williams, a writer based in Amarillo, Texas. Here's what she's asked by email. I'm working on my dissertation and I'm having a hard time staying interested in writing. The topic feels too big and overwhelming to me, and every time I sit down at my keyboard, I feel completely overwhelmed. I'm a scientist, not a writer, so I have a hard time applying the phrase writer's block to my problem. But I figure I do have some sort of writing block. Can you help me? Thanks for your question, Elizabeth. I'm glad you're skeptical about using the phrase writer's block. Whenever I hear that expression, I'm reminded of a quote by writer Terry Pratchett who said, "There's no such thing as writer's block. That was invented in California by people who couldn't write." Nevertheless, I've worked with thousands of writers over the last 40 years, many of them academics, and I can make some educated guesses about the nature of your block. Here are the top 5 writing blocks facing many academics. 1. They aren't spending enough time thinking in advance about what they want to write. Many years ago, I heard a nutritionist say that the problem with vegetarians is that many of them don't eat nearly enough vegetables. The irony of that statement is amusing, and I think a similar comment can be made about many academics. The big problem is that many of them don't think nearly enough. It should be obvious that thinking is a major part of the job for academics. But thinking requires time and space. You can't do it while you're teaching or grading papers or speaking with your dean. And you shouldn't try to do it while you're sitting at your desk. Go for a walk and think. Really think. You need ideas to be able to write. Don't try writing until you have some. 2. They are editing while they write. The editing brain is highly critical. And the writing brain is highly sensitive. If you try to write while your editing brain is engaged, all you're going to do is criticize yourself, and that's going to make you miserable. Editing is, of course, essential, but only after you've written your first draft. I've helped many people shut down the bad habit of trying to do both jobs at once. See link in the show notes below. 3. They are researching while they write. I've known many academics who will keep their noses in books or on the pages of peer-reviewed journal articles while they are trying to write. They don't seem to understand that this is a confusing and painfully slow way to work. Break this habit as well. To help you do this, I suggest you start keeping a research diary. See link in the show notes below. 4. They're trying to write a brilliant first draft. Many non-professionals fail to understand that no experienced writer expects a first draft to be any good at all. Understand that the best time to improve your work is when you are editing it, after you've finished writing. Content yourself with what I like to call a crappy first draft. See link in the show notes below. 5. They're spending too much time trying to write. Many academics tell me they need to write for a minimum of 4 hours a day. This is craziness. Instead, give yourself much smaller and more reasonable goals and build them up gradually. Most people find researching interesting and non-threatening, so perhaps you could spend an hour a day doing that. But in terms of writing, start with no more than 15 minutes and build yourself up gradually. If you start small, you're far more likely to succeed and far less likely to procrastinate. Writing a dissertation is a big deal, but not an insurmountable one. Take it one word at a time and do the best you can. Finally, let me wrap up with a quote from the American writer Barbara Kingsolver. "I learned to produce whether I wanted to or not. It would be easy to say, 'Oh, I have writer's block. Oh, I have to wait for my muse.' I don't. Chain that muse to your desk and get the job done." Elizabeth, the big issue with academic writing is the academy provides so little instruction in it. Scale back your goals, stop trying to write the best dissertation in history, and as Barbara Kingsolver says, just get the job done. If you'd like to learn more about how to make your writing a happier and more rewarding process, check out my latest book, Your Happy First Draft. It's not available in bookstores or on Amazon. The only place you can get it is my website. Link below and in the show notes.